Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day of 30NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Unity, the game engine. Unity, the company itself, has decided to change some policies, and then they backtrack a little bit to clarify, and we're going to be talking about that this morning. We're going to be talking about Apple and what it means for the gaming industry. They just announced the iPhone 15, and that they're going to be AAA games natively on the actual new iPhone. And what does this mean for mobile gaming? What does this mean for the game industry? And was Phil Spencer not full of crap just a couple of years ago when he said, we're not worried about PlayStation, we're worried about Amazon, Google, and Apple? So we're going to talk about that as well. We're also going to talk about Starfield. There's a new test that suggests that it could run up to 40 to 60 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. And we're going to talk about that. I gave you my thoughts a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, on, the S is holding the X back. These are facts that we can actually see now. Why not let the X breathe a little bit and have the 60 frames per second where the S doesn't? We'll talk about all these things today and more on today's show. If you like what we do here, please make sure you hit that like button down below. It helps us out. We're a very small channel, and we need to get seen more on YouTube. And the way it works is if you guys hit that like button and you actually like the content and you watch the content, the longer you watch and you hit that like button, it starts to suggest it more to other people out on the web. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can hit the subscribe button, become part of our community here. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a paid member as low as $5. Discord is open for everyone. You can join our Discord for absolutely free. But if you are a member, you can link your account, and it opens up more rooms for you inside of our Discord. So I do appreciate you very much. If you're here for 1 second, 1 minute, or 1 hour, I do appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us in the morning. This is a talk show we do Monday through Thursday. I do news stories. I just cover the news. I read the news, and then we have conversations with you guys in chat. If you like that, make sure you hit that like button. All right, so let's start off, right? So there was a timeline here. There's a timeline here that Unity, Jez Gordon posted this, and this is, it says, hey, gamers. Well, Jez Gordon didn't post this. He retweeted it. He says, Xbox Game Pass devs are decrying the Unity changes since it aggressively threatens the viability of a business model. So this comes from Agro Crab. Says, today, Unity is the engine we use to make our games. Announced that it'll soon be taking a fee from developers for every copy of the game installed over a certain threshold, regardless of how that copy was obtained. So, guess of somewhat highly anticipated game coming out Xbox Game Pass in 2024. That's right, it's us and lots of other developers. That means another Crab's Treasure will be free to install for 25 million Game Pass subscribers. That's the number we know. It's actually, we know it's probably more now. If a fraction of those users download our game, Unity could take a fee that puts an enormous dent in our income and threatens the sustainability of our business. Now, and that before we even think about the sales on other platforms. Now, or pirated installs of our game, or even multiple installs by the same user. So this decision puts us on the countless other studios in the position where we might not be able to justify using Unity for the future titles. If these changes aren't rolled back and heavily considered abandoning our wealth or Unity expertise we've accumulated over the years and starting from scratch in a new engine, which is really something we would rather not do. On behalf of the dev community, we're calling Unity to reverse the latest in the string of short-sighted decisions and seem to prioritize shareholders over the product's actual user. Now, it goes from that into an article, okay? Unity introducing a new fee attached to game installs, okay? This comes from a game developer. It says, the cost of using Unity as a game engine is once again about to increase. Starting on January 2024, the company will begin charging what is calling a Unity runtime fee that is based on the number of users installing games built on the widely used engine. The runtime fee will kick in after developers cross a specific revenue and installed threshold that scales with different subscription plans for those Unity personnel or Unity Plus license, and the fee will kick in after a project crosses $200,000 in revenue over 12 months and 20,000 total installs. Now, developers operating on the Unity Pro Unity Enterprise license will be granted a higher threshold before beginning owning fees. For those devs, the charge will also kick in after the title earns $1 million over the same 12-month period and passes 1 million installs. According to the breakdown sent to the game developers by Unity, fees will be changed on a monthly basis, and the amount of charges per install will also depend on the license. So Unity personnel and Plus developers will pay a flat fee of 20 cents per install. Pro and Enterprise users will pay a small per install fee and scales downwards with the number of installs over the initial threshold. Pro user fees will begin at 15 cents per install and scale downward as low as 2 cents per install, while Enterprise users feel it will begin at 12.5 cents per install and scale down to as low as 1 cent per install. Fees will also vary depending on what region a game is monetizing in. Unity also has a set emerged market monthly rate for developers monetizing the counters like India, and in those regions, personnel and Plus users would also owe 2 cents per install. Pro users would also owe 1 cent per install, and the Enterprise users would own 0.005 cents per install. Now, developers of the free-to-play games, which have much higher install rate than premium titles, will have the option to offset the fee by adopting other Unity services such as level playing, advertising, mediation services. Now, Unity stated in a blog that implementing the runtime fee revenue share program, the company said it believes that an install-based fee allows creators to keep the ongoing financial gains from players' engagement. As for why Unity has chosen to introduce a new fee, Unity creator president Mark Whitten told game developers that the company is seeking a better balance and value exchange between Unity and developers. After discussing it ins and outs in the fee, Whitten chose to speak more plainly about it, and Unity is also charging developers an additional fee, as he put it, and we want to make more money so that we can continue to invest in the engine. So what led Unity to establish an install-based fee? Unity announced the company's attribute a fee of ongoing development in Unity runtime, executable, and players download every game that allows games made in Unity work a scale. Now, Unity has not previously charged developers for any service related to Unity runtime in various licensing plans, the capabilities of Unity Editor, and offer a number of services for live service games, including DevOps, monetization, and player analytics. Whitten explained that maintaining a Unity runtime executable is a active effort, and even after the game ships, Unity runtime needs a frequent update to operate the platforms that are being consistently updated. It's quite expensive, he said, adding that the fees was designed to charge developers who have found the scaled success with the games, and while giving smaller studios enough time to build their audience before paying additional costs. So you can see all the actual prices that we already covered. Now, there is something eyebrow-raising about the fee structure Unity is offering for free-to-play developers. As mentioned up on top, devs who see excess of game installs based on their business model will have an option to receive a discount on fees if they work in Unity contract additional services like Level Play. Level Play itself is a free service, but Unity gets a cut of whatever is spent on ad meditation. Developers already relying on those services will be good position, but developers who use them, the service would have a evaluation in Level Play. Quote, deliveries of the value that also expect it in the Whitten put it. Some may wonder why we're being asked to either pay a fee that could run anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000 per month if we don't switch to Unity and add the service. Now, Whitten characterized the discount program as being one of many tools to help developers ensure the fee they pay scales to the revenue that they're earning. We didn't build this program saying that we have to use Level Play. It's just another option that we have in place for people. I like how the company's basically microtransactioning the developers making the game using their engine. And then those games, some games, then take that price and then put it over onto us, the consumers. He says, how will developers react to another price increase from Unity? Our conversation with Whitten took place almost exactly a year after Unity increased the price of its Pro and Enterprise plans. The price bump allowed summer businesses moves, angered some of its customers at the time. Whitten said company wasn't taking enough to the development community and that it hoped to improve relations in the year ahead. Whitten admitted that when chatting with partners from the runtime fee, no one was really excited to discuss the idea of raising the price of Unity. No shit. You think? He said that those developers he spoke with also did acknowledge Unity needed and invested to Unity runtime to claim that there was a strong desire for the company to continue investing heavily in the engine. Unity is also making some updates in the licensing plan developers might find favorable for developers will no longer face restrictions on using Unity personal license, and also coming into a project with funding make revenue off their game. So all Unity plans will also update the access and also cloud-based SS storage systems, Unity developer tools, Unity aggressive AI technology, and no extra cost starting in November of 2023. So let's go back now to this. So Unity rushes to clarify the price increase plans as game developers fume. Okay, why does it matter that the fees of Unity said the essential for funding development of the tech left many gamers makers wondering if they're having to hit the game through Unity would cost them more money than it could make? Developers spoke throughout the day, delaying their games to switch to rival Epic Games' Unreal Engine or other services on X and the platform formerly known as Twitter. But eventually, Unity exec Mark Whitten was up to an Axos, and the policy potentially diffuses some concerns raised by game creators. The detail is the new runtime fee announced Tuesday morning is titled to a player's installation of the game, an action that previously didn't cost developers anything. So here's the problem, right? Let's just take Minecraft as an example. I downloaded it on my iPad. I downloaded it on my iPhone. I'm just one user, right? I downloaded it on my PC. I downloaded it on my Xbox. I downloaded it on my other Xbox, right? I have 5 installs. The developer now has to take that cost from just one user, okay, and has to literally pay 5 installs for one customer, okay, for one user. Now, with the Unity new plan, developers who use Unity free tier of the development service would own Unity 20 cents per installation once their game hits a threshold 200,000 downloads and earn $200,000 in revenue. Again, if I bought it 5 times, not exactly at the exact same time, but I'm hitting it up on PlayStation, I'm hitting it up on Xbox, I'm hitting it up on my iPad, they owe 20 cents per installation. Now times this by 100,000, times this by 1 million, okay? So developers paying over $2,000 a year for Unity Pro plan would have to hit higher thresholds and would also charge with lower fees. The new fee system will begin at the start of 2024. He says, yes, but game developers rallying on the X began fuming immediately, and then the game enjoying a spike of installation due to the big sale, inclusion of a charity bundle, or even just at being included in a popular subscription service like Microsoft's Game Pass would trigger back-breaking Unity fees. To stop it, developer, Development Studios' inner sloth marker hit amongst us tweeted Tuesday morning, this would harm not only us, but fellow game studios on all budgets and sizes. Another studio, Aggro Crab, called Unity out and reverses its plans, saying that it's feared that the next game set for release in 25 million subscribers on Game Pass could incur fees that threaten the stability of the business. Now, zoom in after initially telling Axos earlier Tuesday that players installing a game, deleting it, and then installing it again would result in multiple fees, and Unity's Whitten told Axos that the company would actually only charge for initial installation. A spokesperson told Axos that Unity had a regroup to discuss the issue. He also said, we hope this would allay fears in instant install bombing, where the angry user could keep deleting and reinstalling a game to rack up fees to punish the developer. But the extra fee will also charge if a user installs a game on a second device, say the Steam Deck, after installing the game on PC. Between the lines, runtime fees will also not be charged for installation on the game demos, Whitten said, unless the demo is part of the download that includes the full game. Early access games would be charged for installation, he noted. Games offered for charity in charities will be exempt from fees, and Unity will also provide a way to developers to inform Unity as their games are being offered that way, Whitten said. As for Game Pass and other subscription services, Whitten said that developers like Aggro Crab could not be on the hook as the fees are charged to distribution, which the Game Pass example would be Microsoft. So they're throwing it over. They're like, no, you the developers we're not going to charge you. Microsoft is paying you up front to get your game on their system. Microsoft would take all the hit for installs on it. I don't think Microsoft wants to do that as well, right? So runtime fees will also not be charged for installation of the game demos, Whitten said, unless the demo is part of the download that includes a full game. Early access games would also be charged for installation, he noted. Off note, Whitten estimated that only about 10% of Unity developers will wind up having to pay any fees given the threshold games need to hit. If it's only 10% Unity, then why are you doing it, right? Why are you doing it? So why are they saying our core point with this is simply to make that they had the right value exchange so they can continue to invest in the fundamental missions that make sure that we can deliver the best tools for the people to make great games. It's not fun to get a bunch of angry feedback in a particular day and think that it's also needing to clarify some of the points. But there's also, we're listening, and we also continue to make sure that we deliver the best that we can. Look, I think this ends up and they backtrack. I think Unity completely backtracks on this. This to me is so stupid, especially when you have Epic with the Unreal Engine 5, where you have so many things free to anybody that can use the system, and then when you pay, they take the lowest fee possible from anyone. And it's not just it's if you make money, they make money. These guys are getting charged money up front. Then they're also getting charged for install base now, right? And then they get charged, Steam has a install base, everyone charges a fee, but Unity is trying to they're trying to dick the developer over. And now they're backtracking, saying, well, it's not on the developers. If you're on a subscription service like PlayStation Plus or Game Pass or Amazon Luna per se, then that's going to go to Amazon. So those are hidden costs now. So now when a company's like, yeah, we want to put our game on Game Pass, they're like, what engine are you using? Oh, you're using Unity. Yeah, no, we don't want your game on Game Pass, or we don't want your game on PlayStation Plus. So you're just going to have to put that up there, right? So if they're on a streaming service, it goes to Game Pass, right? It goes to Microsoft, it goes to PlayStation or Sony. But if they don't put them on the streaming services, then it goes to the developer. So that's going to be a hard decision for the developer to be like, yeah, we really want to put it on Game Pass now because we don't want to pay those fees. We want Microsoft to pay those fees. And Microsoft will probably be like, yeah, no, we're not paying those fees, right? We already gave you money up front, right? And if you don't have microtransactions, anything that we can make money off of your game, it's just a single player game, and people just, we already gave you your bulk of money up front. You're making extra money off of the rest of the consoles, okay? And now we're actually getting extra fees on top of that for putting your game, and we're getting. No, this is gonna get pulled back on Unity, and I give it a couple of months, 100%. This seems stupid. This seems stupid. What's going on, chat? Let me see what you guys are saying. What's going on, Water? The head of pre-order of Mortal Kombat 1 looks great. Apple iPhone and ray tracing now. That's crazy to see how far phones have come. Exponentially, it's just going to get murkier and murkier. Silent Warrior says, yes, battery life, 30 minutes. What's going on, Makoki? PlayStation 5, good sir. What games use this engine? A lot of people use this engine. Let me I play a game I know off the top of my head is Power Wash Simulator, right? Which uses it. Let's see. What games? All right, well, here's a couple of games that use it. All right, we have Cuphead, uses Unity. Pokemon Go, Hollow Knight, Hearthstone, Far Lone Sails, Untitled Goose Game, Genshin Impact. Woo! That's a big payday for them, huh? Tunic, Ghost of Tale, Cult of the Lamb, The Forest, Super Shot, Escape from Tarkov, Outer Wilds, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, My Friend Pedro, Rust, Ori and the Blind Forest, Beat Saber, City Skylines, Subnautica, Pillars of Eternity, RimWorld, Fall Guys, Wasteland 2, Firewatch, Risk of Rain, Valheim, Battletech, right? Right? That's a lot of big games there, right? That's a lot of big games there that all of a sudden now have to pay a fee or a bigger fee to them. I mean, Genshin Impact, man. That's going to be a payday for Unity. They're like, hey, yeah, Genshin Impact makes a lot of money to play game. We can. What's the install base? Install base. Let's see. Genshin Impact. Let's see, player count of Genshin Impact. Now, I don't know how accurate these numbers are, but Online players as an hour ago is 565,000. Active players in 30 days is 64 million. As of August 2nd, 2023, over 66 million players play Genshin Impact during its launch in September of 2020. The game has had 6 million monthly players. 16 million. 16 million monthly players. As of Genshin Impact as of September 12th, 2023, the player count is at 4.1 million compared to the previous day, 0.43% increase. For the last 7 days, 4 million. That's a hefty payday for Unity there. I understand Unity doing this. If it's a fee that will help them continue to cover costs, then I'm here for it. These are fees that devs more than likely won't feel in their pockets. Not true, Water. Not true. Would eat that cost, not translate it over to the devs? Ori and the Blind Forest on Game Pass. Yep. Yeah, Game Pass. See, here's what Unity's actually doing, right? Let's go back to this list. Let's go back to this list here real fast and look at games that are on Game Pass. Okay. There's a lot of games here on Game Pass. Just off the top of my head, there's Tunic, right? You have Ori and the Blind Forest. I think my friend Pedro was on there at one point. I'm not sure if Rust was on there. Right, Outer Wilds was on there. I don't know if it's still on there. What else is on there? Firewatch was on there at some point. Pillars of Eternity's on there. Subnautica's on there. City Skylines is on there. Right, there's a lot of games that are on Game Pass, and Unity, I think, sees the light. Right, sees the light where they know that a lot of people, especially after Starfield went on and they had 6 million people of the 25 million people play or whatever, where they look at it and go, we can make a lot of money off of Microsoft. Microsoft's making a lot of money, right? They're making $400 million a month off of Game Pass. We need a share of that, right? That's what they're doing, right? I really don't think they want to screw over the devs, but I think they're looking at it going, we could get a chunk of change from this. That's the crazy thing. It'll even affect the games that are already in the service. Yeah, because the games that are on the platform now, sure, are there going to be 10 million downloads for Cuphead come 2024? No, but any game now that's on Game Pass that's using Unity will now have to charge a fee to cover the costs of their stuff. It's crazy to me to think that Unity all of a sudden's like, you know what? We're not making enough money. We're not making enough money. Let's see what Unity's let's see. Unity real-time development. What's the company called? Unity Engine. Let's see. The company. All the way down here. Unity, just called Unity. Trademark registered trademark of Unity Technology. Unity Technology. Stock price is 36.77. Founded in 2004. Revenue is 1.39 billion US in 2022. 1.39 billion. They going public for their acquisitions in 2020. They went public. June 2020, Unity announced that they had partnered with Apple to update the Unity engine to run on Apple Silicon-equipped Macs with the 2020.2 release, allowing game developers to update their games to support their new hardware platform. An Apple Silicon-ported versions of the Unity editor was demoed during the WWDC 2020 Platform State of the Union event. On August 17th of that year, Unity stated that it had acquired Codice Software, who makes the distribution version control system. The same year, Unity acquired Fingerfood Advanced Technology Group for $46.8 million. Unity announced its plans to offer initial public offering in August of 2020. At the time, the company reported a 1.5 million monthly users with 15,000 new projects starting daily. The company compiled of IPO of the 17th of September 2020, total of $1.3 billion above its target price, and started trading as a public company in the New York Stock Exchange. In December of 2020, Unity announced the acquisition of multiplayer networking frame, a computer vision deep learning company. In June of 2021, it required Pixie Software to develop a 3D data optimization technology. The company also announced plans to acquire Parsec, desktop streaming software. Okay. In a cash shares deal, Unity acquired Weta Digital for 1.6. Those of you that don't know Weta Digital, that's the people that made Lord of the Rings. Okay, the special effects company. Okay, for 1.63 billion in November of 2021. Unity also added the Wellington-based companies of 275 engineers in the workforce. That latter's visual special effects and animation teams will continue to exist in standalone entity, becoming the Unity's largest consumer in media and entertainment space. You see a lot of these companies. See, I didn't know that, but you see a lot of these companies like Epic getting into the film industry, right? They own, they're doing the Star Wars and Marvel and all the stuff, and doing a lot of other movies and stuff now on Unreal Engine. Okay, here we are. Unity buys Weta Digital. Like, there's Lucas Arts and Weta Digital. Like, right? That's like the two best special effects artists in the business. Okay. In January 2022, Unity announced its acquisition of Viva Dynamics, a Vancouver-based visual effects company. Amazing. In March 2022, they announced a partnership with Insomniac to create interactive online concerts and events. Interesting. In July 2022, Unity agreed to buy Iron Source, is an all-stock deal worth of $4.4 billion. And at completion of the deal, Unity's shareholders will own about 73.5% of combined company, and current Iron Source shareholders will keep about 26.5%. Unity will also receive $1 billion investment from Sequana Capital and Silver Lake once the deal is closed. And in August of 2022, AppLovin made unsolicited offer to buy Unity in exchange for $17.54 billion in all-stock deal. The proposed merger would result in Unity CEO John Ricciello becoming the CEO of a combined entity. AppLovin bids excludes Iron Source, and the Unity agreed to buy in July. Later that month, Unity board rejected the offer to complete its acquisition of Iron Source, and the Iron Source merge was completed in November of 2022. So it doesn't seem like Unity needs the money for why they're doing what they're doing. Okay? It doesn't seem like they need the money why they're raising the price and doing what they're doing. This seems like something which kind of goes into like the next story here, right? Because in 2020, they had partnered with Apple to update the Unity engine to run on Apple Silicon-equipped Macs. And now we have a story, which goes on to the next story here, is that Apple just announced the iPhone 15. Okay, they announced that the Assassin's Creed Mirage Fans iPhone 15 Pro models confirmed to bring AAA game support for the first time on iOS devices. This is not ported. This is native coming over. So iPhone 15 Pro models are coming in with support of AAA games, including native versions of Resident Evil Village, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Death Stranding. Okay, Apple finally launched its most anticipated iPhone 5 series, which includes the iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Plus, and iPhone 15 Pro. And the iPhone 15 Pro Max is a global market. A launch event. The company confirmed that the iPhone 15 Pro models are coming to support the AAA games and will include native versions of Resident Evil, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Death Stranding. Yes, you read that correctly. The A17 Pro chipset is going to make everything possible in terms of gaming. Now, I talked about I talked about this years ago. Years ago. Those of you that have been with me for years, you guys know I talked about Apple getting into the gaming industry. I said it would be real simple. And this is before they made the Apple Arcade. Okay. I said that Apple could easily, and I said this again years ago. I said it's easy for Apple to come in and just buy a company, right? They could buy, just as an example, they could come in, pay cash money, and buy Sony. Obviously, it would be really hard to do that because of government issues and companies can't get sold. But the point is that Apple, instead of making their own device, which they were trying to do in the past, they could just come in and buy Xbox if they wanted to, but they're not going to do that, right? But they could just buy another company, and then all of a sudden, instead of the Sony PlayStation, it's the Apple PlayStation, right? Instead, Apple did like the Trojan horse type of thing, where Apple's never been part of gaming. They've always wanted to be part of gaming, and back in the day, I mean, Halo was a game that was made for Apple, and then it turned into, they left Apple to Microsoft picked up, it used to be a real-time strategy game, which came out later, right? But Halo turned in from a real-time strategy game into what Halo was for Microsoft in 2001 and became the juggernaut it was and not is anymore. But Apple now has this, right? Has the iPhone, has, smartphones out there. This was just the gateway to where now native games, now it blurs the line even more. In 2020, Genshin Impact came out. You could play it on PlayStation. You could also play it on mobile phones. Now we have other games coming out, and there's versions of the game that come out for iPhones and whatnot. But now there's the actual games coming out for the iPhones. So Apple has finally launched its most anticipated iPhone series, which we already read. Apple has offered a sneak peek of substantial performance enhancements and inclusion of the ray tracing for gaming on the iPhone. This marks a significant breakthrough in mobile gaming, as the launch of Assassin's Creed Mirage on the iPhone 15 Pro significance, the first instance of console PC Assassin's Creed game running directly on the iOS, distinct from cloud streaming, distinct from cloud streaming, an upcoming mobile exclusive Assassin's Creed title. It appears that the complete version of Assassin's Creed Mirage and other similar titles will be accessible on the iPhone 15 Pro. While we anticipate the performance of the impact of AAA games on the iPhone 15 Pro's battery life, the concept of playing contemporary AAA games on a mobile hardware is undeniably captivating. Okay. It says here from a tweet, it says the fact that A17 Pro is natively running AAA titles like Assassin's Creed Mirage, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and absolutely insane. This is definitely a new benchmark for mobile gaming. Is that considered mobile gaming? I mean, yes, it's a mobile phone, but this is huge, right? This is huge because everyone that has a cell phone now can basically run a AAA game on their device, right? Regarding the release schedule, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4, and Death Stranding is slated to arrive on iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max later in the current year, while Assassin's Creed Mirage will confirm to make its debut on the first half of 2024. It's worth noting, while Assassin's Creed Mirage is set to debut on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on October 5th, the iPhone version is expected to be available a bit later, and the console of the PC counterparts. This makes so much sense now. This makes so much sense now that Ubisoft was investing in mobile gaming. This is why they're making Jade. This is why they're doing their stuff. Yes, those are mobile ports. But again, this blurs the line. This blurs the line between Genshin Impact being on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 or Xbox or PC or phone. I don't think Genshin Impact's on Xbox. I stand corrected there. But Genshin Impact on console and also now on mobile devices. Now that becomes just another, feather in the cap for the phones. They're getting more and more advanced, and yes, your battery life is gonna shit. Well, they also make those cases now that you can hook up with the backbone with the extra battery and whatnot. And what's the difference if you're playing your AOG? Is that what it's called? Right? Is it AOG? I forget what that handheld device is. Right? You got the Steam Deck, okay, and now you have your cell phone. Sure, the Steam Deck has a bigger screen, right? The other device has its bigger screen. The Switch has a bigger screen. But now you're looking at these things, and think about Apple. They just opened up their whole market, right? PlayStation's trying to sell consoles, right? They're trying to sell consoles. And they can, at best, at best, get 122 million, 150 million people to buy consoles. Meanwhile, there's billions of people. Now, obviously, there's not billions of people that own this particular phone yet. Okay? But as the cell phone technology, as Android will probably pick up and make something where they can start running the games on the devices, all of a sudden you look at Google, and this is why Phil Spencer said he wasn't worried about Sony PlayStation, right? Or Sony. He's worried about the other guys, Amazon, Google, Apple, because within an instance, they already have a hardware already in everyone's hands. All of us have a cell phone of some type, if it's Android or if it's Apple. Okay. You already have it. You already had that $1,000 device in your hand that does everything for you, from internet to watching movies to playing games to doing all this stuff. Apple doesn't need to make a console. Consoles don't even need to exist anymore. Microsoft is letting you play games on their Samsung television, or on the Samsung television, not their Samsung television, right? You could play over the cloud. You could do all this stuff, okay? And now here we see the bits and pieces of it now evolving, where Apple comes in. Apple is the leader of video games right now with the Apple Arcade, right? Not of mobile, just video games in general. Apple leads in video games. But everyone doesn't care about that because they're like, who plays mobile games? Well, now blurs the line. This is just one step closer to bye-bye consoles. Bye-bye, because cloud gaming, running natively on your cell phone, okay, on your devices, because if it's on a cell phone, it'll be on an iPad or a tablet very soon, coming near you. Okay, and this is just one step closer, where now Apple is not included in this console war, where Sony is number one, and Microsoft is number 3, and Nintendo is number 2. Well, Apple, all of a sudden, within 2 years, 3 years, can all of a sudden be the leader in video games. That's pretty crazy. Let's see what you guys are saying. Haven't we learned now that everything is ran by money-hungry bigots now? Real devs are sitting back and enjoying their time on vacation and have retired. All in ray tracing, yeah. And the company suddenly needs money. Are you talking about Unity? Yeah. Now, here's the question. It caused the devs to bottleneck the performance of graphics and suit that they also mobile device now. Will consoles and PC gaming get worse due to this? I don't know if consoles and PC gaming will get worse. I think the technology that's in cell phones will get better, right? Battery life will always be a problem. Battery life will always be a problem because as we get better graphics, the battery life goes down. They keep raising the battery, and they keep getting better graphics and higher processors, and they keep, so that battery is never going to get much better. It just stays within in the scale. You know what I'm saying? Jesse Max says, I don't get it. Is it wasting your time to play new iPhone to get AAA titles? Is it wasting your time to play new iPhone to get AAA games? Yeah, but you're not buying a cell phone. You're not buying a cell phone to play video games, right? I mean, some people do. But the install base for phones, your phone's dead 2 to 3 years, right? Product obsolescence, right? Manufacturer obsolescence, right? This has already been proven. Apple and Google both make your battery life shitty by a press of a button. Okay, there was lawsuits and stuff like that, where all of a sudden you do an update and your phone just doesn't run anymore, and you're like, I need a new phone. They force you to get a new phone because we rely on these so much, right? Apple, you don't need a PlayStation. You don't need an Xbox. You need a cell phone. The future of life is that you need a cell phone to pay for stuff, to get into places, to whatever, your identification, okay? Apple and Google are already in. Now all they have to do is get the other things on that device that you can get, right? Silent Warrior says, I mean, you might be able to download one game at a time. I assume my file size would be huge for a phone. Streaming. You can stream it. Does the regular iPhone 15 have ray tracing? No, it's just the 15 Pro and Pro Max is what it said. They said native, so it's not streaming or cloud. You can download it, and it also said streaming. It says streaming right, or unless read it wrong. Let's see here. Mobile gaming launch Assassin's Creed, significantly first insist in the process. Yeah. Runs directly on the iOS, distinct from cloud streaming or upcoming mobile exclusive Assassin's Creed title. PC Assassin's Creed game running directly on the iOS, distinct from cloud streaming or the upcoming mobile exclusive Assassin's Creed title. Right. So it's not streaming. It's not the mobile Assassin's Creed title. It's literally running on your actual device. I used to love gaming on mobile, but now I only play MOBAs, and I can't play games on mobile. I can't. I just can't. I will never game on a cell phone. Don't say never, boss. Don't say never, because in the future, you might not have any choice. You might not have a choice. You might sit here be playing PlayStation 6 or 7, but there's be a time where there's no more PlayStation consoles, and you're only playing on that mobile device, right? Roger says, but it's an iPhone 15 and moving forward. Right. It's just getting better and better. So once again, Phil is thinking long term. Absolutely. Phil is incompetent and aiming too far. I don't think so, boss. I didn't know both had ray tracing. Didn't make it seem that way. Wait till Apple gets a controller. Right. Right. Which I think they have controllers. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Xbox makes a controller so you can use for them. Stream it. Damn the carriers are not going to like the data usage. I'd rather spend $500 on a PlayStation 5, $2,000 on a phone though. Bros, again, you need a phone. At some point, there's going to be Verizon, T-Mobile, whatever other, AT&T. They're going to have deals. Your phone's going to break at some point, and you're going to have to get an upgrade. And they're like, oh, trade it in, you get $100 or whatever credit, you get for free. At some point, it's not like someone's going out going, yeah, I need to get that iPro Max so I can play Assassin's Creed. That's going to be very, very small percentage. It's the people that are like, I need a new phone. Oh, I can play games on this as well? Oh, that's cool, right? That's going to be the sellers at the part. You're like, I need a new phone. And be like, most people, mom and dad, are going to go there. And they're going to be like, yeah, I don't care about you playing games. And their kids are going to be with them. And they're going to be like, oh, my God, we can play that. Come on, Mom. Can we get that phone? And they're like, yeah, whatever, sure. And you have to get a cell phone. You have to get a cell phone. No one's playing this on their flip phone. You know what I mean? I'm going to get the wife iPhone 15 Pro Max. I usually upgrade yearly, and now I skipped 2 years between upgrades. And my company is running a great deal. Here's the thing. I just upgraded my phone. So I won't see this until 2025, right? And by that time, when they come out with the iPhone 16 or 17 Pro Max or whatever, the technology will just be that much better. But battery life is always going to be shitty. It's going to be always shitty. Probably says, I got the 14 Pro Max with the most memory and haven't put a dent in the storage. I have the 14 as well. 14 as well. Let me see what my storage. Where do you go for that? Where do you go? You go to, is it general? iPhone storage. I have a 256 gigabyte phone, and right now I'm at 110 gigabytes. And I can delete. I listen to a lot of podcasts and whatnot, right? That's the day I'm dead or stop gaming. I hear you. I hear you, boss. I hear you. If you trade in your iPhone and change to a Go 5G plan, you get $830 off. I paid. They paid me for my phone. I had a 12, and I went to a 14, and they gave me $10 in credit. I didn't even pay anything for this. I paid $0 for this, and they gave me $10. Right? Yeah, I have a phone, and when I get a new phone, I'll stick under $400 bucks. I'm not spending over $1,000 on a phone. 100% understand that, Rose. But what I'm saying down the line, see, you're thinking like right now, right? You're also not going out to buy this to play video games. What I'm saying is Apple is going to get millions and millions of people to automatically get this in their hands, okay? Because they're going to have to upgrade their phone at some time. Android's going to do the exact same thing, right? Google's going to do the exact same thing. Right? Think about this. Stadia bombed because of their business model. But now if Google Android comes out with a phone that can do exactly what the iPhone does, which it will. We know that technology competes against each other and goes. But now all of a sudden they have a technology where you can stream those games directly to your phone from the cloud service that they had originally anyway. Now all of a sudden the Google Stadia, which absolutely bombed, now all of a sudden is in the hands of everyone that owns an Android device. Right? No extra fee out there to buy it. You already have a phone. Now you have it. Water says they're going back to the USB-C 3.0 for charging, moving away from the terrible Lightning charger. My iPad currently uses a USB-C as well. Oh, good. They're going back, Water, to the other port. Besides, I never buy an iPhone. I hate Apple. Again, you're missing the point. You're missing the point of the whole thing, right? This is what iPhone announced, but the industry is going to all go together, right? The whole point is that cell phones are now as powerful or going to be as powerful as the consoles, right? That's the difference. You're missing the point. You're like, I'm not going to buy it. I don't like Apple. Again, this is you're taking the conversation is that this is a Sony Xbox battle, right? Apple and Android, and it has nothing to do with that. I'm having a conversation about cell phones and what they're doing and where the industry is going and how easily that Apple can compete with the consoles of gaming, okay? Because where the industry is going with the streaming, with the cloud gaming, with the mobile devices. Hey, I don't care if it's Apple. I don't care if it's Android. I don't care what the company is. I'm talking about the industry itself and where the technology is going. Cooling will be probably bad as well. Right now my phone heats up, right? Regardless of what again, you're not buying this for the games. That's a small percentage of people that are buying it to play the games. It's the fact that it's on your phone and you can play games. And the fact that now developers don't have to make a separate game for mobile. You see what I'm saying? Does it open jars? What's going on, 11? Everybody's going to be doing it. Focuses on brand. Wait, there are people who like Android? Weirdos. What's going on, Travis? Apple's just being Apple. I just think it's amazing that for years they've been talking about how Apple is going to buy somebody. Meanwhile, there's people that own what's the device called? Apple TV, right? They can come up with the next Apple TV, put this chip inside that Apple TV, and now all of a sudden that's a game box that's $100. You see what I'm saying? Right? They could all of a sudden get AAA games instantaneously for the people that already have the stuff, or now you're on your Macs and they have the same thing. Now it's on your mobile phones, and all of a sudden from overnight, Apple goes from nobody gives a shit because they're not a game developer to all of a sudden, bam, now they're the largest, right? They're the largest. Right, the game is a plus. It's not the reason that people are buying it. I think Samsung already had ray tracing. Did they have games, Mo? It's not about the ray tracing. Is it native games on the Android? I don't know. I don't have an Android, so I can't speak of it. Do they run native games, or are they making a port to put on the game or to put on the phone? My carrier is Verizon. I have Verizon. Why would any company want to spend money making a console if there's 3.5 cell phones in use and they want to make 3.5 billion people with a device in their hand 24/7? Exactly. 1,200 for a phone. Just buy a Steam Deck. Again, Ron, you're looking at it as if you're buying it for the game, right? Yeah, 100%. That makes sense. $1,200. That's crazy, but you're not buying it just for gaming. You're buying it for the phone, for the internet. We're attached to it. People around the world, everyone has a goddamn cell phone. At some point, you're going to have to turn in your cell phone. Again, don't look at it as an iPhone. Just talking about the industry itself. If you have an Android device, you're going to get another phone in the future. It's like a car, right? The car model that you have now, the standard might not have heated seats or cruise control or power windows. But 3 years from now, when you buy a new car, or 5 years from now, when you buy a new car, it comes standard in that thing. You're not buying it for those things. Those are just things that are part of the car. Damn, 30, given the game plan. I mean, that's what it is. Will Apple allow Game Pass on their devices? Will Apple allow Game Pass on their devices? Game Pass, well, you can play here. Here. I mean, if I'm playing the game from a cloud or if I'm playing it off of the device itself, like download device itself, why wouldn't Apple allow it? They make money. They make 30%, or they make, yeah, whatever the percentage is. Let me see if there's a wait. Hmm. Hey, look, I'm loading up Starfield now. Right? I'm loading up Starfield now. Right? There's no reason, like, are they going to allow it? Yeah, I can play Starfield right now. I've been playing. You could do this on Android devices and stuff. You could do PlayStation. You can stream the games to your phone. They don't need to. They're all like these back end stuff, right? Microsoft's like, oh, we don't like Apple, but you can play our games through the browser. Eventually, you have to upgrade. It's just how it works. Exactly, Travis. That's what I'm saying. I don't see people trading in 3080 graphic cards for a phone. No, but you're also not participating in the conversation. No one's buying a phone to play video games. They're getting a phone to use it for the functionality of the phone. Making phone calls, internet, porn, tweeting, paying your bills, identification, okay? And now gaming. Like, no one's going, hey, you know what? You see that new game? I could go buy a new cell phone for $1,200. You could buy a PC. You could buy a Steam Deck. You could buy a bunch of different things. Who's buying a phone to play video games? I'm having a conversation of A over here, and you're having a fucking conversation of Z. Sad to say, but it doesn't have to be high-tech phone. Don't matter these days. At some point, my point is, you never need a console. You never need to buy a Steam Deck. You never need to buy, these are all luxury items. A cell phone is going to be required. A cell phone is going to be required to live in life. You have to be an absolute idiot to buy a phone for games. That's what I'm saying, boss. Like, that percentage of people that are like, oh, dude. Like, that's like keeping up with the Joneses. Like, someone that's testing it and going, dude, I just got the new iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I'm playing the greatest game on it, and here's how it looks. And right? Because they need the latest technology. Because they want the phone. And it plays games. But they're not buying the phone to play games. I'm sure your chip's going to burn up and blow up. How? Here, let's
just saw the new iPhone 15 Pro, iPhone 15 Pro Max, and the new 15 and 15 Plus. And the big story that Apple kind of glossed over in the keynote is that they all have USB-C. Lightning port is dead. Long live Lightning. The Pro and the Pro Max get USB 3 speeds, so you'll get up to 10 gigabits per second when you're transferring data between your phone and your laptop. 15 and 15 Plus don't get that, they just get USB-C. But this means that you'll be able to charge your laptop, your iPad, your iPhone, all using the same charger. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Apple. So it really was the—
Isn't that sad? That's sad when you have to thank the company who took it away from.
Max goes up to $11.99, so you're gonna have to shell out for that 5 times.
You know what? And they keep raising the price, and people keep buying it, right? People keep buying it. Oh, the action button where the switch used to be. Got it. I generally upgrade my iPhone every 2 years, so my time will come next year. That's what I'm saying, Kylo. That's my whole point. The people that have phones, okay, at some point, okay, like right now, it's only the Pro and Pro Max that have this thing, okay? But soon, it will be standard. It'll be in the regular and the thing, because as they come down, people buy them. Or even if you don't buy it, because then the 16 Pro comes out and the 16 Pro Max or whatever Androids is, right? They do the same technology, let's say. So you're a year behind. So now you're getting the 15 Pro for the same price that you would have gotten something at a lower price point. So now you're in, right? Now you have a phone, but now your phone also plays games natively, like a console. Right, my phone, I had a 12. And I went to the 14, okay? And they have you trapped because the reason that we have our phones is because we've had phones since I think the 7, if I'm not mistaken, right? I used to work for Apple back in the day. Okay, I actually don't like Apple because since Steve Jobs died, the company and Tim Cook have completely changed. Like they're not as customer friendly as they used to be. They're all about the bottom line. Once Steve Jobs died, Apple died with it. Personally. Okay, but my mom, my dad, right, my wife, all our family members have, okay, well, majority of our family members have iPhones or iPads, and to talk back and forth, we're stuck in the ecosystem right now. Until all of us are like, all right, screw it, we're moving on over to the next, whatever the next thing is, right? Right? They provide these services and stuff that you keep in there. Right, majority. That's what majority means, Sarge. You're correct. It will be standard. The 15 Pro camera will be better than the 14 Pro Max, and the camera is crazy. Exactly. Right? Let's not even talk about the cameras and stuff, right? The Android cameras that they have, and then now what iPhone's doing, like, you're going to be obsolete of actual video cameras. People are making full-length feature films, have been for years now, with just cell phones, which is absolutely insane as well, coming from a person that used to work in the film industry and the camera department, right? Absolutely insane. Kylo says, yeah, I do not purchase my iPhone for games. I use the thing for like 8 or 9 hours a day. Don't play any games. Never like mobile gaming. Yeah, I can't get into, even though I download sometimes, I'll download a game, right? I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And then I'm like, it's a mobile game. It's a mobile game. Maybe now that mobile gaming is now moving away from mobile gaming and it's actual gaming, right? Maybe more people would start start playing on the type of thing. And you also got to remember, majority of planet Earth, or at least in the United States, we're not people that play mobile games. You know, over in the East, right? Everyone is on mobile. Everyone. There was that movie on Apple TV that did amazing, entirely shot on iPhone. Oh yeah, it's been happening for years. 11. I remember when I got trained in 2000. What was it? 2007 is when the first iPhone came out. It changed the landscape of the film industry because the way people were doing it, using the phones on set, right? So I worked on a movie called Never Back Down. Back then, I was just a PA back then. It was my last PA job before I got into the camera industry, right? The art department was using it where they would take pictures of the set and then send it back to the wardrobe department or the art truck, and then they would bring stuff out and do stuff instantaneously. There was no more running back and forth. It was like, take a picture, boom, put it over there, and they would bring it. The guy would take it, the lighting guy would use it for lighting to see what the set would look like through the camera and stuff like that. Instead of walking up, no, I wasn't a grip, I was a PA. That's what I said. You walked instead of walking up to the camera, looking through the lens and seeing what it was, people would just hold up the cell phone, put the filters on and whatnot, and then they would have it because someone made an app that could change to look at stuff, right? It changed the absolute industry instantaneously, okay? And then as it got better and better, I think by 2008 or 9, they were making commercials, full commercials that were just shot on the iPhone. Even when they did the iPhone commercials, they were all filmed and shot with the phones that they were promoting. Yeah, I was a production assistant. I was the lead production assistant. Basically, I got paid to be a second AD, which is an assistant director, but I didn't get paid to be. I was a second AD, but at the same time, I didn't get the pay for second AD. I worked like 22-hour shifts for 45 days. I was fucking exhausted. The movie was actually called. Do I have my? Yeah, it was actually called Never. Before it was called Never Back Down. It was actually called. It was actually called Get Some. That's what it was called. It was called Get Some. Okay, right. That's what it was called. But then they changed it before it launched to Never Back Down. Did they at least put you in the credits for hard work? Yeah, I got my credits. Yeah. I got credits, and I got basically every single job after that from that one job, from just meeting people and working my ass off. That's how it works. Comedy? No, it wasn't a comedy. It's basically, it's Karate Kid. It was Karate Kid for the early 2000s. Yeah, it was a blast. It was a blast to film it. It was a comedy of how bad it is. Sure, I guess. Are you trying to take shots at me like I'm going to get irritated from it? I mean, I made a lot of money off of it, so it was comically how much they paid me. No, I got made a lot of contacts and made a lot of money off of it. Yeah, Never Back Down. Here, I can't show a trailer because they'll fucking flag me. They do it all the time because of. I don't know if this if that's the movie title thing, right? Good movie. I mean, it's literally a ripoff. It's MMA of Karate Kid. That's what it is. A lot of actors in there. A lot of actors. Upcoming actors. I mean, Amber Heard, we know about her now, right? But she was in it. Diamond Hansoon was in it. Evan Peters was in it. Yeah, he was in Blood Diamond. Yeah, this is him right here. Awesome guy. Awesome guy. How do some of those movies get greenlit? I mean, it all depends on what the budgets are. I think the budget was, I think it was 50 million. I think it was 50 million, or was it supposed to be? If I remember correctly, I think it was supposed to be 30 million, and then it went up to 50 million because the director, Josh, he was shooting everything. He comes from a different a different type of background, and that was the point in the movie industry, like 2005 to 2007, where people were moving from digital filmmaking to film, and he shot stuff digitally. And then when he came over to film, we were just shooting through rolls and rolls of film. It was crazy. He was shooting everything. There was some really cool rigs that were built for like not special effects. Like everything's practical that we did in the movie. So like there's this shot where he takes the kid and he like picks him up and does like a suplex to him, and we had this forklift, and then the camera rig was on top, like on the forks, but there was this arm that would swing, right? That would do this like really cool motion. So there was a lot of cool little camera moves and stuff that they did. And it's when the iPhone first came out, so you'll see a lot of people in the crowd, if you ever watch that movie and see the fight scenes, and they're all filming on iPhones. Those were all handed out to people, because it was like literally one of the first movies to come out that was using the iPhone in ways of getting footage and other things. It's cool. Cool. Is there anyone that you met filming that you were like, F that dude? I'll say yes, but I won't tell you who that is. Yeah, because my experiences with people, it could be from they had a bad day, they just weren't having it. Maybe they were hangry. Maybe something happened. So I've worked with people that are assholes, and I've worked with people that are super sweet. Blood Diamond had the Titanic dude. The Titanic dude, Mo? You don't know Leonardo DiCaprio? Seriously? The Titanic dude? Like, Leonardo DiCaprio is probably one of the best actors of our generation. like literally. The Titanic dude. Who's that Titanic dude? All right. Next story. Xbox Series S and X UK sales jumped 76% on Starfield launch. Bethesda RPG and new 1 terabyte Series S model deliver the best week of 2023 so far for Xbox consoles. Now, there's another article I'm going to read because it actually does a little bit more information. Starfield drives 2 best sales weeks for Xbox Series X and S this year in the UK. Now, the reason there's always articles about the UK is because in the UK, they actually still keep track of numbers, where in the United States, they hide them, right? So Xbox Series X and S sales reach a new weekly high for 2023, considering the Starfield early access release. Sales of Microsoft's console were up 76% week on week for 7 days end on September 2nd, according to the data from market research of GfK, which was published by GamesIndustry.biz. Bethesda's sci-fi RPG was released on September 6th for Xbox Series X and S and PC and Windows and Steam Game Pass, but players who also pre-ordered the premium edition of the Constellation Edition were able to start playing 5 days early. Microsoft also launched a new Series S 1TB model of September 1st, which also accounted for 24% of the total Xbox console sales during the week in question. The following week, ended in September 9th, was also the second best of the year for Xbox Series X and S sales in the UK, according to GfK. The upturn follows a slow year for UK Xbox hardware sales, which also were down almost 23% year to date as the end of August. Starfield appears to have broken Microsoft's record for the biggest launch day for Xbox Game Studio title. Right? There's a lot of talk that number, that 6 million, right? 6 million, they're like, it doesn't really pan out, right? But at the same time, I look at it and go, 6 million for being on PlayStation. Now, if all 6 million people, some people look at that and go, 6 million people, how come it's not bigger? But then if you look at stuff like Final Fantasy that came out with the player base of 38 million, sold 3.3 million copies. But then you look at Bethesda coming out for 5 days early access, and we know at least 2 million people paid $100. Okay? 2 million people, well, let's say 1 million people paid $100, and then another 1 million people paid $30, let's say, on Xbox because they had Game Pass. Okay? They still had almost the same, and the game also is being played by more people. And if you just happen to take the monthly fee from the people that are playing it, they're still making the exact same amount of money as those games did that had full release. But they made it here, and then they'll make it recruiting numbers. The recruiting numbers is going to be something that's going to be interesting to see, right? How many people, again, we'll never know. We're all going to be speculating how many people played, how many people paid for it, how many people didn't pay for it. We'll never know that. It'll be interesting to find out, because we will find out at the end of the quarter, or we will find out at the end of the year when they tell us their numbers of Game Pass went from 25 million to 30 million, or maybe it went down because people that bought, maybe the people that left beforehand, we will never know. Not to say it's not good for Xbox. 6 million of anything is actually really damn good. If no one paid for it, and they still had 6 million people play on it day and date, that's still an impressive number. It doesn't matter to me if Microsoft charges or doesn't charge, right? For some reason, a lot of people look at it and go, well, this is an L for Microsoft, and I don't know where you're getting that from, because any game that's getting 6 million people to try it, play it, give it a shot, let's just say that 6 million people all didn't buy it full price, and they all just tried it for $10 on Game Pass, or $15 if they got it on PC for Game Pass. That's an additional 6 million people that now have Game Pass. You see what I'm saying? So they'll recruit that over time if they stay. If they come for Starfield, didn't like Starfield, they'll stay for Forza Horizon. They'll stay for Motorsports. They'll stay for whatever else comes out throughout the month, throughout the year. There's lots of games that are coming out, and people will be like, I'll give it a shot, right? I'll give it a shot. So I'll be interested to see what that number is at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year. I think about getting one of those when I travel. Travis says, I know we love to guess numbers here, so, and you can quote me to see if I'm right about this. I'm going to guess that Mortal Kombat sells 2 million before the full month after release. 2 million. It's on all platforms, is it not? Isn't Mortal Kombat, Travis? Mortal Kombat. Let's see the platforms it's on. It's on Nintendo Switch. It's on the PlayStation 5. It's on the Windows. It's on Xbox Series X and X. Okay, Nintendo, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series X and X. I mean, it's on all the systems. I think 2 million. We're talking about PlayStation 5 has 40 million units out there. Xbox has an additional 22 or 25 million. We're talking 65, maybe 70 million consoles, and then 122 million, 127 million Nintendos. So we're talking 180 million consoles plus PC. So we're talking about potentially 200 million to 240 million people that can buy it. And you think only 2 million? That might be a little low. That might be a little low. I'll go with I don't know how many people, like, let me see how many what was the last Mortal Kombat? What was the last Mortal Kombat game? What was the number? Was it 10? 11? What was the last Mortal Kombat? Mortal Kombat 11? Let's see here. Mortal Kombat. $15 million units. Okay, so what do you know about Mortal Kombat 11? Was sold over 15 million units globally since the launch in 2019. Makes it the best-selling game in the fighting franchise, followed by Mortal Kombat. But that's not when it sold. Let's see. Mortal Kombat total sales first week. Let's see. Overall total sales of the entire series. That's the entire series. 15 million, but I hate when they don't tell you like the sales. 12 million units sold worldwide. Okay, Mortal Kombat was sold 1.8 million copies digitally, according to the latest global market report. That's digitally. And you said what, 2 million, Travis? Now, Mortal Kombat 11, what platforms was it on? PlayStation 4, Windows, Xbox One, Stadia, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Stadia. I bet you it sold more on Stadia. Yeah, they lose the PlayStation 4 and they lose the Xbox One crowd. So that's 122 plus an additional 80. That's 200 million right there that they lose because they're going from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 and Xbox One to Xbox. So, you know what? I think you might be right. I think 2 million. I'll say 2.5. I'm going to say 2.5. Because they're losing 200 million, but they're also they're losing 200 million from PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. I'm gonna say though, people are pretty hype. I'll say 2.5. You're gonna up it to 4 mil. Okay. I'm gonna stick to 2.5 because the new ones on the Switch, the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC. It was on all those platforms before, but at the same time, they're losing the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and they only sold 1.8 at the first month. Right? So 2.5. Sure you don't want to do 2.1 on the prices, right? No. I'm gonna say $1, Bob. $1. No, yeah. Who's closer without going over? I'm gonna say 2.5. Yeah, it's who's closer without going over, Travis. I'll say 2.5. Digital purchases increase year over year. Oh, I get you. 1.8 million was the digital, right? I don't know. I don't think. I still think it's a niche community, and they also lost 200 million units that they could sell to between the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. I mean, those are facts. Regardless of the people that owned a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One now upgraded to a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, okay, Series S or X, there's only 64 million units out there between the two consoles right now. There's not enough. Even if that number goes up to 100 million, they're still missing an additional 100 million people that didn't move over to the next system. So you got to look at that number and go, how many people that owned a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series S X are the ones that bought it from PlayStation 4 or Xbox One? I would get it, but I don't want to ruin my controller buttons. You know? Hey, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. The lawn guys are outside. I don't want them to run over my hose. Hold on 1 second. All right, sorry about that. We got working farm here, so sometimes I have to get up and do stuff. This will be the best-selling Mortal Kombat in a while. I'm rebooting the series basically, and it will probably strike the nostalgia feeling of the old Mortal Kombat players, and even bring in new. I'm sure it'll sell very well. Water. Travis asked me what we think is going to sell in the first month. So, right, the last one sold 15 million units total. Right, I'm sure it'll. Yeah, Prozzy. I live on a we live on a farm. Yeah, it's a family owned farm. I don't work the farm personally, but we live on the property, and sometimes like we have ducks and cows over here, and I have certain things like I built a duck pen a couple months ago, and I haven't installed the main line for the water yet, so I have this hose going across my lawn to get to their water. So when they come in, because we have people that cut the 40 acres, so they come across, and I don't want them breaking the line because that makes more work for me. You live in a small town in Texas. Total population is 10,000. That's nice. Nice. My wife's family is from a town of like 2,000. All right, let me see what other news we got going on here. Real quick, if you guys haven't seen it, we do other things on this channel as well. We have uploads that we've done. We've done uploads of, I do a game called Legend Bowl, which is a football game. It's an 8-bit Nintendo style type football game. It's a fantastic little game. I do we're doing a franchise mode through there because of football season. We're going to be uploading those every week for that. We got 4 weeks in already, so you guys go check that out if you're interested in that. If you're looking for a sports game, you don't want to play Madden football, you might want to check it out. It's a nice little game. Good gameplay. Don't look at the well, you can look at the graphics. Obviously, it might not be for everyone, but the actual gameplay itself is a lot of fun. You can check that out. I think there's a demo of it, if I'm not mistaken, on Steam, but I'm not sure if it's still up there. But yeah, we're playing Legend Bowl. We also did an upload, or we do live streams at night. Last night we did an episode of Captain's Log with Jack Burton from Starfield. So if you like that, we do that on the nighttime streams from 8 p.m. to about midnight. We had a couple missions. Great mission last night, man. There was some really good stuff last night with the mission log. I don't understand how anyone says the story in this game is bad. Like, we had like corporate espionage. We had a blackmail, government officials and stuff like that. Is a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. My high school was more than 2,000. Yeah, my graduating class was, I think, 800. Just my class. That mission line even gets better. Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait. We'll probably continue it. We'll continue tonight. Embu says, living in the city, we got millions though. I suppose a big factor of that is, besides having the most colleges in the country, we're also the stop-off point, either going north or south. We have, I think, in the Orlando. I don't live in Orlando, but in the Orlando, I think there's like a 2.2 million or 2.5 million people in Orlando. It's not bad. 30 is today's word for day generic. Again, Travis, you have no idea, man. No idea. There's such good stories. That'd be the best case scenario, Travis. When you get ignored, ignore them like we did, Maui, and see how they feel. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm helping the refugees. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Are we talking about the game or real life? So here's something interesting, which I find that a lot of Sony fans like to say, and I'm being very generic. I'm not calling anyone out. Just what I've seen on the internet and in this chat. Okay, a lot of people say that they don't want the Game Pass method. They don't want to have that Game Pass on PlayStation. Okay, but yet there's two games that are really shining right now. Okay, Saints Row pulls off the second biggest PlayStation Plus game debut of 2023. Now, I don't know what that means, right? I don't know what that means as far as like maybe it's 10 people and 9 people before, right? Only behind Battlefield 2042. Okay. So the reboot of Saints Row PlayStation Plus has seen a huge influx of PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 players, enough to make it the second biggest PlayStation Plus essential game debut of 2023. Now, while player demand of Saints Row trophies might have been a little muted during the game's initial 2022 launch, it doesn't mean that the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 players have remained completely uninterested in Violation's Saints Row reboot. Now, with the exclusive data revealing a debut player count, it reveals the best games on PlayStation Plus, it seems everyone was just waiting for the inevitable Saints Row PlayStation Plus launch before jumping in. Which means PlayStation fans like cheap, shitty games as well. Just saying. I've been tracking the active player count in every PlayStation Plus game to launch in 2023 with over exclusive gameplay data from 3.2 million active PlayStation accounts. Includes Saints Row in a recent PlayStation Plus Essential game for September of 2023. Okay. We've compared the first week of PlayStation Plus player numbers to Saints Row week ending in September 10th, and with every other PlayStation Plus Essentials debut this year, and it's clear that only one game has top Violation's sandbox game in terms of active player count, which is Battlefield 2042, which is another bargain bin game, right? Because it didn't do good until it was in the bargain bin or on the actual service itself. Compare the two titles, we can see that Saints Row 3 PlayStation Plus debut players count falls to 23.64% short of Battlefield 2042. That's not too surprising given the Metacritic metric more than 500% rise in active players of Battlefield 2042 gained via PS Plus back in March of 2023. Still, it's impressive that Saints Row managed to beat out the debut of PlayStation Plus player count on July of 2023 Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War by 2.44%, and now the third highest PlayStation Plus debut of 2023. So there you go. Battlefield, Saints Row, Call of Duty, Minecraft Dungeons, and Chivalry 2. It's certainly interesting to think about the commonalities between both Battlefield 2042 and Saints Row and how it might have affected their PlayStation Plus performance. Both games brought their respective popular franchises into PlayStation 5 era, and an array of technical issues, middling critical reception. Both games also received a lashing from longtime fans online for any number of creative technical decisions. Finally, perhaps most crucially, both games failed to meet the sales expectation of the publisher. Despite the factor of both games have performed exceedingly well on PlayStation Plus subscribers, it suggests that PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 players have remained interested in either games themselves for at least the big franchises they hail from. Certainly, we can expect big name titles to do well on PlayStation Plus, but for both Saints Row and Battlefield 2042 to outperform Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, the best-selling 2020 game in the US, suggests that there's a few more factors affecting players' interest here, and simply the allure of recognizable franchises. While Saints Row still falls a little below the expectations of the best PlayStation 5 games list, it's also great to see many players giving a game a second chance on PlayStation Plus, where many players would also check out Saints Row Reboot and PlayStation Plus last week, and let us know down in the comments section down below. So this just proves that gamers, not PlayStation, not Xbox, gamers are looking for a deal. They're looking for a game that they're like, you know what, doesn't look very good. I'll wait for it to come out as a used copy. I'll wait for it to go in the bargain bin. I'll wait for it to go to a streaming service like PlayStation Plus or Game Pass, right? I love that these people love to sit on their high horse and say, PlayStation people don't ever want that crap, and they'll never, ever play that crap, right? And then yet, here we are, where Battlefield 2042 and Saints Row, the garbage edition, okay, are the number 1 and 2 selling things, or not selling things, playable things on PlayStation Plus. We on PlayStation just don't want to pay for shitty games. We're smart. Think about that statement you just said, Rose. Let me change it for you. We on Xbox Game Pass just don't want to pay for shitty games. We're smart. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? It's the same. A gamer, when they see a game and it's like, it doesn't look very good, I don't want to pay full price for that. I'm going to wait. Game Pass is like, we don't have to wait. Games come directly day one, good, bad, whatever, and we're not paying full price for it. Us Forspoken, still Forsaken Memories. Even free, I'm not touching that piece of shit game. Understandable. But again, if you're the spokesperson for PlayStation, and yet people on PlayStation are playing shitty games, it just seems like gamers in general don't want to pay full price for a shitty game. "76 says, I'll still pass. No thanks." Yeah. Right. I can't wrap my brain on how people are bothered with Game Pass. It doesn't make any sense to me. What's good for the goose is not good for the gander, right? We won't pay for shit like that. Game Pass sucks. We get shitty games on our thing, and they're like, well, we just don't want to pay for shitty games. Like, what? What are we talking about? PlayStation Plus has a certain amount of games. You're making it sound like every game on PlayStation. No, boss. I'm not making it sound like anything. You are making it sound like nobody on PlayStation ever will play a shitty game. And yet, on PlayStation Plus, Battlefield 2042 and Saints Row are the 1 and 2 of the top games that people are playing on PlayStation. I'm not making it sound like anything. I'm reading the news. You are making it sound like nobody on PlayStation plays shitty games. You guys don't want to pay for games, period. That's not true either. The fact is that people that have Game Pass are still buying games on Game Pass. Less people are buying. Because why would you pay full price if you're already paying for the service? Those games on PlayStation Plus are free. You're purchasing those games? Stop. What are you talking about? What do you mean they're free? So is Game Pass. You're paying for PlayStation Plus just like people are paying for Game Pass. What are we talking about, boss? What the fuck are you talking about? We don't pay for those games on PS Plus. We don't pay for those games on Game Pass then. Like, what are you saying? There's even that play just a download. Everybody on PlayStation Plus will mark the games as download just so they don't miss out. What? Oh, here we go. The goalposts are moving. You guys are completely ridiculous. Let's move the goalpost. The fact is that you guys try to make me look like I'm ponying up for one side or the other, and all I'm reading is the news. All I read is the news. The facts are that PlayStation Plus members are playing Saints Row most and Battlefield 2042. So ridiculous. Even with the platform I play with, what I like, pass on a ton of good games. I just want different types of games. Exactly. I'm just reading the news. PlayStation Plus, if you buy a game and then cancel, you lose PlayStation Plus and you can't play that game. Xbox, if you download a game and then cancel Game Pass, we can still play that game. How dare you, Brain? How dare you, Brain, bring up that? If PlayStation had a decent version of Game Pass, I'd be all over it because of the kids. I mean, we use Game Pass from time to time. I just don't understand the world we live in, right? I just love the world that we live in, that the PlayStation fans right now that always are gung-ho, that we don't like shit. This article just must be popping because I didn't make this up. This is not me going, ha ha, gotcha. No, this is Saints Row is the second biggest PlayStation Plus game, which was a shitty game, didn't sell well. Company just closed down. Is now Saints Row is still moving on, but the studio's dead, like completely gone. Embracer Group closed him. Okay, and then Battlefield 2042, which was a shitty game 18 months ago. Okay, I played Battlefield 2042. I didn't pay for it, just like the people on PlayStation Plus didn't pay for it. Right? You pay a monthly fee and you play it, and I'm having fun with it. I wasn't a dumbass to pay $125 for the game when it came out. You know what I mean? You're making it sound like all the time? No, I'm making it sound like exactly like regular gamers. You are trying to make it a Xbox Sony thing. I'm just saying that gamers like deals. And gamers don't want to pay full price for a game when they know it's going to be a bad game. So they wait for it to come out on a streaming service. That's what I'm saying. If they're playing two of the most trash games out there, it's right. PlayStation costs more than Game Pass, but given less. I can't help but think Stockholm Syndrome for the defenders. 36 says, my boys download all the free stuff that PS offers, and they try it out. Everything they can. Yeah, my son does the same thing with Game Pass, 76. Right? He downloads stuff and plays it. Like right now he's playing a game. What the hell is it called? Scream Ride? I think that's what it's called. I think it's called Scream Ride. Let me see if that's what it's called. Scream Ride. Yeah, that's what it's called. Scream Ride. Where you like build these roller coasters, right? Where you build these roller coasters and you like shoot it at buildings and they explode or whatever, right? I wouldn't be caught dead buying that game. If my son was like, I want to buy that game, and I'm like, how much is it? $50, $60? I'd be like, no. Be like, hey, it's on Game Pass. I'm like, have fun. Have fun. Looks good. Looks like a good time for today. PlayStation Plus also nearly doubled the subs of Game Pass. But what does that have to do with the story? What does that have to do? See, this is where you put your jersey on for PlayStation and you're like defending PlayStation. What does that have to do with the story of PlayStation players playing Battlefield 2042 and Saints Row Garbage Edition? What does that have to do with the story? Again, I'm not making it sound like anything. I'm clearly just reading the news. All jokes aside, my reason for not liking Xbox is simple. I don't like the controller. That's simple. Is that what today's answer is, Travis? Prosy, exactly right. They don't actually listen to the words coming out of my mouth. I'm just reading the story that I read. Yeah, I literally just read this story. Like this story. Right? Saints Row pulls off the biggest PlayStation Plus game debut of 2023. That's it. You use the PlayStation controller on Xbox. You can use. Oh, can you? Didn't know that. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know you could use your PlayStation controller on Game Pass. That I think people's heads are exploding right now. No, we're not saying PlayStation Plus service is worthless. It's funny how people trash Game Pass, but looking at the PlayStation Plus through the different lens. That's exactly right. Exactly right. The people that talk shit about Game Pass, gamers on PlayStation are doing the exact same thing. They're waiting for a game that's a bad game, right? And going, you know what? I'm not going to pay full price for that. I'm gonna wait for it to come on the streaming service, which I have no problem with. See, and when it hurts, that's when they have to go to the comments that they're saying. Right, the percentage of people, right? You would have to take the PlayStation 4, which is 122.5 million, and then the 40 million. So they have 160, let's just say 170 million PlayStations out there between PlayStation 4 and 5, right? And they have what, 50 million subscribers for PlayStation Plus. And then you take Xbox that has 80 million. I think it's 88 million. Let's just say 90 million for Xbox One. And then you take the 22, so they have 110 million, right? So they have literally like 70 to 80 million less than PlayStation, okay? And they have 25 to 30 million people compared to the 50 million, right? Doesn't hurt. I'm only being like you, stating the facts, right? I'm just stating the stuff that's here, right? I'm not making anything. I don't have any bias towards one or the other. I'm just saying what it is. And I think the controller, I think I'm not defending it anyway. Didn't Xbox's controller win like multiple awards and is rated like the #1 controller in the business? I don't know. I think I remember. I think I remember. Let me see. Because the best PC controllers in 2023, best PC controllers. Yeah, so this is for PC, right? So one is Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2. 2 is Xbox Cord Wireless Controller. 3 is this Scuff Instinct Pro, which is another Xbox controller. 4 is the Razer's version of the Xbox controller, and then Sony DualSense wireless controller is number 5, right? So best overall is the Xbox controller. Best budget is the Xbox controller, right? Best customizable is the Scuff Instinct Pro. Best button layout is the Razer Wolverine Ultimate, and the best symmetric one is the DualSense wireless controller. But that's just this one thing. When was this done? July 27th, 2023. I love how you make fun of people, Travis, when it doesn't agree with you. Facts don't matter in your world. Facts don't matter. Trying to see if there's another. Who's the best controller for every kind of player? Best game controller for every type of player. Let's see what this is. Yeah, see, this one says the best one is best for PC. When was this article? Just so we have a reference. This is from May, so 2 months before the last one. This one says, and again, I'm just reading the title. It says that the best for PC and some PlayStation 5 players is the Scuff Reflex controller, which was the third one over there. Then the best PlayStation 5 controller is the Sony DualSense controller. Then it says the best for Xbox One Series X, they're breaking it down, is the Scuff Instinct Pro controller. Best for Nintendo Switch is the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. This is just telling you the best controller for each of the consoles. There's so many controllers to pick from. Best video game controller for every platform. That breaks it down. Let's see. They don't even do like a thing, huh? They don't do like a best in year, like an award show for peripherals. Here's the from Stuff Magazine. Let's see what this one is. 10 best ever gaming controllers ranked. All right, let's see what they say about this. Bring this up. Number 10, the Atari controller. This is the best controller to come with a suction cup. You guys never knew about that. You could literally rip off the top of it and you could stick it to anything. That was the best controller for that. Number 9 is the GameCube Wavebird, which wasn't bad. I like that better than the N64. I hated the N64 one. The Xbox Elite Controller Series 2 in 2019. The Wii Remote in 2016. It was an interesting way. The way you held the controller, it was very comfortable. You know what I mean? It was like you could play, and I know this sounds weird, you could play sitting down without having your arms in front of you. You know what I mean? Like you could have the controllers separate and your arms would just like relax and you could just play without kind of like keeping your arms like this. You know what I mean? Or even on your lap. So the PlayStation DualShock in 1997. Has that changed much? I mean, besides I have the PlayStation 4 controller. I'm looking at, they changed with the touch sensitive in the center. They moved that button. The analog is down here where the PlayStation button is. They moved the option and share on the other sides now. They've always kept the controller pretty much the same. Super Nintendo controller. Pretty standard for Nintendo back in the day. Sega Mega Drive 6-button controller. I didn't really like that. Good for fighting games, though. It was good for fighting games. Oh, this is the worst. This is number 3. Oh, this is thrown out. You can't have the N64 controllers number 3. This is the worst controllers or the best controllers? This was the worst design controller ever. I hated this controller. I hated it. You like this controller, boss? This was good for fighters, Rose? Or are you talking about this, the Mega Drive? The Mega Drive was good for fighters. You're talking about the N64? Oh, sure. I played a shit ton of stuff. I hated this controller, though. I can't. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Xbox 360. I hated this controller. The 360 controller. I didn't like the design of this one. Oh, the Sega one. Yeah, the Sega one was great for fighting games. Yeah. And number 1, there you go, the DualSense, right? I can't believe that this is number 3. That's crazy to me. This is up there. This is up there, Mo, as one of the worst designed controllers. I can't believe this is number 2. I can't believe this is number 2 of the Xbox controllers. This I can understand. With all the stuff that's inside this controller with the haptic feedback and the design of it, gorgeous controller. This and this, I mean, this is just design-wise, this is ugly. This is ugly as well. By Thor himself. He forged it. He forged the controller. Oh, there's a difference between a great controller as far as like it was, but design-wise, it's garbage. Come on. Ugly. Like the N64 was a good controller to use, but design-wise, it was garbage. The monster controller that the original Xbox came with was awful. Oh, yeah. You're talking about the original. This thing was just. This thing was as bulky, right? Look how bad this thing is. Look at this. Look at it. Look how garbage this is. Like, how self-righteous are you? Okay, that you came out with a thing and the fucking button in the center that did absolutely shit was this giant like button. It was terrible. This thing was absolutely garbage, and it was so giant. It was so massive in your hands. This was their first controller they came out on the scene with. This is what you played Halo with. It was just this button in the center, man. Just like, what? It was so bad. Look at it. That's not a kid's hands either. That's probably like a 6'4" grown adult. No. It was like holding, I don't even know what you would compare it to. It's just giant freaking monstrosity. Yeah, that's Andre the Giant's hands. Yeah, this is Andre the Giant's hands. Yeah. This was so garbage. They're just like, hey, let's put some buttons on a thing and let's make the thing. Let's make the controller an actual X and we'll put our name on the front so they know what the fuck we're using. Like, what? Best part about the controller was how long the cable was. You could literally play from like the living room and go to your kitchen that was like 25 feet away. It wasn't that long, but it felt that long when you were. What was this? Was EA CEO at FIFA 09 launch when loot boxes devs making games without monetization in mind are fucking idiots. In an EA stockholder meeting, he entertained the idea of charging $1 to reload. So the first story we talked about with Unity. So we're gonna read this, but so Tom Warren came out 51 minutes ago and talking about the Unity CEO John Ricciello. was EA CEO when FIFA 09 launched with loot boxes. Last year, he said, devs making games without monetization in mind are fucking idiots. Okay. In an EA stockholder meeting, he entertained the idea of charging $1 to reload an ammo clip in Battlefield. Man, when tweets come back at you, huh? Okay. I got a major update with Unity about new fees. Unity regrouped and it is now says only initial installations of the game triggers a fee. Demos mostly won't trigger. So he went back and we read that. We read that from Axos. But man, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. Devs that don't charge or release a game without microtransactions in mind are fucking idiots. Pretty bold. Hold on one second. What is this? All I know is the People's Gaming or the video game ceremony. No, that's not it. That's crazy. You don't have monetization in mind. Making a video game. You're an idiot. Liza P reviews are out. It's getting 9s, 9.5, all the way down to 7s. So game trending, 9.5. Game Informer, 9.5. Comic Book, 9. The Sixth Axis, 9. PSX Brazil, 8.5. IGN, an 8. GameSpot, an 8. Game Mag, 8. Press Start, 8. Shack News, 8. Push Square, 8. 7 for Tech Raptor. 7 for PC Gaming N. And a 2 out of 5 for VG 24/7. Metacritic's at 83. And OpenCritic, 83. I love how Zodiac Killer changed his name to Phil Spencer. I don't know why you think he looks like a serial killer. I mean, I don't even know what a serial killer looks like, besides Ted Bundy. If one article is written by someone who don't even know base of testing criteria, we weren't privy to it, is enough to speak of its gospel, Sheepy comes to mind. So another banger for Game Pass. Yeah, it's an 8. I mean, I'm not even gonna play it because I'm not a big Souls type of player. Serial killers look like anybody? Yeah, Liza P released today. Well, no, it probably didn't release today. It probably releases tomorrow. I'm not sure. Did it release today? September 19th. Next week. Next week. That's right. That's right, Rose. We should make my next when we hit the next point of to make emotes. We'll have to put an emote with something with a trash game. Well, we already have a trash. We already have trash, so maybe we don't have to. Just 80%, right? 80% or something. It was out a while as early access. What, Lies of P? No, it was a demo. It was a demo, dude. It wasn't early access. Oh no, Mo, Rose is being funny because that's what they said about like Starfield in the 80s, and they're like, oh, it's a shit game, right? So he's just going along with that. Anything in the 80s is a shit game, is a trash game. Why is IGN on the review list? They can't play anything. It doesn't hold their hand. Gotta be 90 or better or higher. Get the shit game emote. That's right. Yeah, we'll just use this, right? So anytime an 80 comes out, you can just we have the trash, right? That's yeah. We just use the trash emote. Yeah, that's sloth in a trash can. Yeah, anytime, right? Oh, it's an 80. It's in the 80s. That's a trash game. So that's 95% of all games, right? Or am I missing something? Yeah, you're missing the joke, Mo. You're missing the joke. The joke is the internet says if a game's in the 80s, it's a trash game, which is just stupid. Yeah. I'll back up. Whoever said that IGN, where's VATS? I need VATS. There's still people that have like 150 hours in the game for Starfield, and they still haven't hit certain things that other people hit. To think that like you played 150 hours of a game, and you're like level 90 or 100, and you still haven't seen something else that someone else saw at like level 1 is just crazy. That's the new age shit going on. Yeah. Yeah. I was just never excited. I was just never excited for like Souls games. But Souls games are I remember I went to a convention in 2016. I went to TwitchCon in San Diego, and there was a whole section just for Souls, right? Dark Souls. And I didn't realize how big Dark Souls was. And then there was like a niche community, and that room was packed. And I was just like, I was like, wow. I was like, there's a big, but Dark Souls doesn't sell like tens of millions of copies. You know what I mean? It sells like 2 to 3 million. But there's this huge, you know, Dark Souls type of you know, fan base out there that just love that type of game, which is funny to me because, you know, growing up playing a fighting game is a fighting game. Like if you played Double Dragon, you played what was that other game? I can't forget. I can't think of it off the top of my head now. Right? There was Double Dragon. There was the two other brothers. What was that game? My point is that there's like the same type of games that are just made over and over. Same with like RTSs and stuff like that. It's like you like this RTS, you play the next RTS, you play the next RTS. You play Dark Souls, you play the next kind of Dark Souls games. Streets of Rage, thank you, Sarge. Thanks, Mo. Right? Like all those things, you keep playing the same thing, and they just keep liking the same stuff. Yeah, Dynasty Warriors. You know what I'm saying? So like people that like Dark Souls and then like this game and then like Lies of P, they just keep playing the same type of game because that's what they love. Oh, this will be the last story we kind of go over. I saw this heading. I was like, what are they doing? So we used to play Destiny, and we were big into Destiny when it first came out, and it fell off around like year 2 of Destiny 2, and I kind of stopped caring. And I said multiple times, it's on our podcast. Me and Sarge always talked about it. I said they will sell you back everything. They will sell you back everything that they took away from you. So here we are. Paul Tassi, who plays a lot of Destiny and writes a lot about Destiny, says Destiny 2 is now reselling old seasonal cosmetics for 9 times the price. Okay? 9 times the price. Okay? So, just when give Bungie credit for taking Destiny 2 armor out of Eververse this season, making it it earned in-game reward, we now have a situation I'll describe as pretty baffling. The week at reset, Destiny 2 players were greeted with a message saying that the Season of the Worthies Battle Pass cosmetic had returned for sale, and the items that were part of the season or $10 season pass 3 years ago went that the seasons first arrived. However, rather than offering a $10 bundle to echo the original price, they are now selling all the pieces separately. Mostly priced at what they cost on the current storefront, including things like $15 sets of armor ornaments. In all, okay, in all, if you add up all the total of season pass content, it comes to around $90 or 9 times what these cost the first place. Okay. Another fun caveat here. It does not matter if you owned the season previously and simply didn't finish the battle pass in that time, which used to be far easier than seasonal content, which deleted after 3 months. You still have to pay for these. Okay. I've previously said that the community seems to agree with the idea that Destiny 2 was to become most over-monetized game out there besides literally gacha gambling titles. And with the sheer volume of things it sells at this point, I'm not kidding when I say I'm starting to get a little concerned about whether they're having revenue shortfalls, as I don't know why they keep doing stuff like this. Let me tell you guys, I've said this for years. Bungie doesn't know how to spend their money. They do not know how to spend money. They have money issues, okay? Everyone said it was Activision. No, it's Activision. Activision's ruining Bungie. Bungie, blah. Man, the goodwill that comes from making Halo back in the day, okay? I saw it from 10,000 miles away. I said, these guys don't know how to manage money, right? I said, they're going to charge everything. They're going to take it away and sell you it back. And here we are, okay? And people just, they just eat it up. They just eat it up. They love Bungie. Bungie can do no wrong, okay? They literally built a 280,000 square foot studio in the middle, okay? Just months before COVID, okay? It sat vacant after it was done built for like a year and a half. Okay? They do these like stupid things, and yet they charge $10 for dungeons. They're charging for microtransactions on top of microtransactions on top of microtransactions. And everyone's like, I love Bungie. I love it. And people keep buying it, and they keep doing it. Right? When are people going to realize that Activision wasn't the problem? Okay? When are they going to realize that this is one of the things I really feel bad for Sony? I do. You guys, Sony picked up, right? Sony picked up Bungie. And I'll say this, in a couple years, Bungie will separate from Sony once again. They will use and abuse Sony, and then they leave on their own because they don't know what they want. They want to publish their own games, and then they get in bed with somebody. They want to publish their own games, then they get in bed with somebody. Then they want to publish their own games again, and they want to expand and have multiple games, but then they get in bed with somebody again. It's amazing to me. It's amazing. Got to keep those lights on, guys. That's right, Big T. Destiny, a living proof that snake oil salesmen still exist. Small indie company, that's right. Now that Sony's stealing their money, they have to raise prices. Akuta Papa, I'm telling you, when Sony picked them up, I was like, that's a good move for Sony, right? But I was like, I don't know if it's worth it, right? If Sony gets out what they want out of it with the live service games and whatnot, bravo. But Bungie's going to leave them. Bungie's going to break them just like they left everybody else because it's always Bungie. Bungie is the problem. Subpar, but everyone says that they can do no wrong. Why does it sound familiar, Bethesda? Abu says we're making revenue shortfalls. They have a player base that has too much money and 0 cents. They've perfected the model, minimum effort, maximum profit, cut corners, cut costs. Lupa says if there's on a thing if Halo Infinite did right is 0 FOMO season pass. You buy a season pass and you can complete it any time. Yeah, but that's a whole other project though, Dupless. 343 is not right. Is not a good example. Bungie's a leech. It is, Rose. Bungie is a leech. Bungie was shit from day one. Still waiting for them to make good games. Still waiting. Not Division. Sorry, Destiny is a good game, Travis. It is a fun game, but then look what Destiny 1 was, and look what Destiny is now. It's a completely different thing. That community has some big time Bungie bootlickers. Oh yeah, they moved from the boot, if you know what I mean. 76. They've moved from the boot. Why work hard if people will pay for minimum effort? Exactly right. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony says no and closes them after getting all. They can't. Akuta Papa. Remember when they signed the deal? Bungie still owns Bungie. They still run separately from Sony. But the catch for being a Halo Infinite Season Pass was that you could only progress by doing challenges. No point towards Battle Pass, just by playing the game. Right, because they gotta make you grind your ass off there. Want to hear an annoying yet fun story? Sure. It's not gonna be funny though now. You said it was gonna be funny. You should have just led with, you want to hear an annoying story, and then if it was funny, then it would have been. But now you've lifted it up. Now I'm expecting funny. So I wanted that white PlayStation 4 so bad I asked for it for Christmas, where I was so excited for the white PlayStation 4 and the Destiny game, but I didn't know it was an online only game. Yeah, see, that's not funny. Yeah. Still love the PlayStation 4, but never got to play Destiny. Well, you didn't miss much. Destiny, I had a good time in Destiny. I did. I met some really good friends during Destiny. Had some good memories in Destiny. But god damn it, dude, that company, I've met those. I don't want to say those developers. I've met developers and had conversations with people from Bungie, and I would be okay if I never did. Oh, sure, Anthony. I love Destiny 1. Destiny 1 was great. But after they left Destiny 1, I was like, something's off here. Something feels off about Sony picking up Bungie. I don't think Sony wanted Bungie. Right? I don't think Sony wanted Bungie. I think Bungie approached Sony because we do know that Microsoft tried to pick them up again, and they didn't want to go back to Microsoft. So like, we already did that. Let's try to screw Sony over. I think in some way, shape, or form, there's going to be a bad breakup at the end. I do. It might not be, next year, 2 years. Down the road, something's going to go up, and we're going to see Bungie separate from Sony again. We'll try it, Barry. We'll try it. When does it come out? It comes out this month, right? I mean, why not? It's on Game Pass. September 18th. Yeah, next week. We'll probably play it like Wednesday evening. Me and Sarge will get in. I'll say it. We'll bring this up again on the podcast tomorrow night. It's crazy to me, right? Just the stories keep piling up of the problems. And again, there's no proof that Bungie has money problems. No proof. No proof that they have money problems. But for some reason, they just keep. Maybe they shouldn't have a gym or a cafe inside their studio. I don't know. They keep for some reason just keep raising prices and stuff. It's amazing. Those lights are expensive now. They got generators running individual lights that they got to pour gas into. Any info on Perfect Dark or Everwild? No, they haven't said anything about them. You watch when Anthem comes out, not Anthem. Oh, it might be like Anthem. When Marathon comes out, you're going to see a lot of backlash. You're going to see a lot of praise because Bungie can make good gunplay and stuff. But you're going to see diminishing returns with the Destiny community and whatnot. They fired, their passion went out. But you don't want to kill the golden goose. They clearly don't want to part with it. Oh, of course not. They want to go on with other ways to try to make monetization. But just like Abu said, like I think the people are leaving. More people are leaving, so they have to raise the price of the people that are still there. It still goes back to the 20% make 80%. Probably as Bungie as a kid who was told it was great because it made one touchdown, and then they believed it was on par with Tom Brady. Did I just make a football reference? You did, yeah. Concussion ball, as you say. They're abandoning the Destiny PvP side to work on Marathon. Yeah, it's just funny to me that they literally, instead of improving and fixing the PvP in Destiny over the last 9 years, okay, they decided to make the dedicated servers in a separate game instead of making dedicated servers for the thing. Tune in September 14th, 7 a.m. Pacific, Nintendo Direct live stream featuring roughly 40 minutes of information focused on Nintendo Switch games releasing this winter. All right, well, then we'll have some information. 7 a.m. that's 10 o'clock. Oh, we can cover it tomorrow. All right, so right now, Bethesda Game Studios, here's the last thing we'll talk about. This came in, how many minutes ago? About an hour ago. So Bethesda Game Studios shared what's coming to Starfield in the future for regular updates. Focus at first will be a quality of life and bug fixes, brightness and contrast controls, HDR calibration menu, field of view sliders, NVIDIA DLSS support PC, a 32 by 9 ultra-wide monitor support, eat button for food. Yeah, that's something, I'll be honest, I don't even eat food. I stopped picking up food as well, right? I don't even pick up food to eat, right? I just don't even pick it up anymore. That should instantly, like, you see food, you pick it up and you eat it, because if I find food, I don't want to go through a bunch of menu systems to get to my food. I just want to eat. You know what I mean? And yeah, I can go to the action thing to eat food, but like I think that's what they think. They're like, oh, it's a hotbar menu. You just put it into the D-pad, you push down the D-pad, you scroll down, you eat your food. But I forget, because if you run out, you got to re-put it back in there. Just if I see food, eat food, right? Yeah. You just stock up on med packs. Working closely with NVIDIA and AMD to initial on-drive support, stability and performance improvements, built-in mod support for PC and console like Skyrim or Fallout 4 is coming early 2024. So there you go. Yeah, there's no reason to eat food. And it barely does anything. Like, barely does it. Travis says, I have never heard of Missed the Kid Sits There, and says that there's a point of click because of all those games were shut. I don't know what that means. The food perks are so minimal. Yeah, the food, which is really hard, because when hearing Todd say they worked so hard on making the food and they're just obsessed with food, and yet the food does really nothing. Like you're just looking at the med packs. Now maybe at a higher difficulty level, you kind of go through med packs more, but playing on normal, you barely ever use food. Like barely ever. Completed Starfield and New Game Plus, and I haven't seen 25% of the game. How many hours you put in so far? How many hours did you put in? I'm approaching 100 hours right now. I think I'm at 98. I think I'm at 98. Let me see what I got. I have. Oop. Where do I go? Thought I could look it up on this. I guess I can't. I know I'm close to 100 hours. $104. Yeah, see, that's crazy. Like, I don't think I've touched 25% of the game myself. You got 500 plus HP heal by 4 HP. Isn't even noticeable. Yeah. Yeah. Once you get high enough, you can craft specialty foods that gives perks as well. So I haven't even touched making food, right? I haven't even touched, at least in like Fallout and Fallout 76, like you have to make food because it gets better heals, but literally mid pack. Maybe I'll start making food then. But is it worth it? You know what I mean? Is it worth picking it up, carrying it, and then craft it into food? I swap between first and third. When I'm running around the world, I'm third person. But when I start picking up stuff, I switch to first. Or when I'm in battle, I go to first for the most part. Back in my day, I like both. I like, especially when I'm doing the role playing stuff. I like showing you guys like the third person, like just being in the room, like a different camera angle type of thing. And then I'll go to first person and show you, up close when I go up to people's conversations and talking. No, I'm playing on console right now. I haven't touched PC. I was thinking about downloading it um on PC and then playing it with the mods, but I'm kind of waiting. I'm gonna wait a bit to see what mods come out because I'm playing the game. I'm having a blast. So I'm sure you must have played. What was one of your favorite point and click? I mean, is Full Throttle considered a point and click? Right, Full Throttle was a point and click. That was also like choose your adventure type of thing as well. Or are you talking like for instance, point and click? I mean, Oxenfree was a point and click to move. Yeah, Full Throttle, which is also on Game Pass, was a phenomenal game back in the day. Was that 96, 97? When did Full Throttle come out? It was later than that. 95. Yeah. Man. 1995. Woo. Just thinking back. It's almost 30 fucking years. It's almost 30 years. Jesus. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, you point and click in that, but that's not a point and click. At least I wouldn't consider it a point and click, a Kuda Papa. But, I mean, I get it. Especially because, like, if you play it on console, it's not a point and click. Well, either it's Full Throttle, I guess. But Full Throttle wasn't on console back in the day. It was only on PC. Now, see, that's funny. 60 and still breathing. Hey, we're only 15 years away. Only 15 years away. When does the DLC of Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk come out? When does that come out? $25th? All right, it's 12:30. All right, we covered quite a bit of stories today. We covered the Unity story, talking about Unity charging developers, and then he backtracked a little bit. We talked about PlayStation Plus game debut with Saints Row and Battlefield 2042. We talked about the iPhone and Apple making the new iPhone be able to play natively games like Assassin's Creed Mirage, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Death Stranding. We talked about Xbox Series S and X UK sales jumped up 76% on Starfield launch over in the UK. And we talked about a bunch of other random things as we did. If you like what we do here, we do it Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. You can hit that like button. It helps us out. We're a very small channel. There's people that literally make videos of this, not of what I'm doing, but they just take the stories and they come out after us, right? And they make those stories and across the board, and they have 15,000, 25,000, 50,000, and they tell you the news, but they just give you the news in video format. Here, you come in and we have conversations about the actual format. If you like this, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We do it Monday through Thursday. On top of that, if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a subscriber so you know when we go live. We also do Let's Plays in the evening from 8 p.m. We do uploads. We have plenty of uploads that we're going to be doing. And then we also do a podcast on Thursday nights. So Monday through Thursday, we're very busy, and we give you a lot of content here. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.